Welcome all of you. I welcome you all in our today's session, that is local beam search. In our previous video, we have discussed about the different local search algorithms. Also, we have discussed the hill climbing algorithm too. In our today's session, we are going to discuss about the local beam search, which is also a local search algorithm. So what is a simulated annealing? A hill climbing algorithm that never makes downhill moves towards states with lower value or higher cost is guaranteed to be incomplete because it can get stuck on a local maximum. In contrast, a pure random walk that is moving to a successor chosen uniformly at random from the set of successors, which is complete but extremely inefficient. Therefore, it seems reasonable to try to combine hill climbing with a random walk in some way that which yields both efficiency as well as the completeness. So here we are going to combine the hill climbing with the random walk. The simulated annealing is such an algorithm. So simulated annealing combines the hill climbing with the random walk. In metallurgy, annealing is the process used to temper or harden metals and glass by heating them to a high temperature and then gradually cooling them, thus allowing the material to reach a low energy crystalline state. To explain simulated annealing, we switch our point of view from hill climbing to gradient descent, that is minimizing cost, and imagine the task of getting a ping pong ball into the deepest crevice in the bumpy surface. If we just let the ball roll, it will come to rest at a local minimum. If we shake the surface, we can bounce the ball out of the local minimum. The trick is to shake just hard enough to bounce the ball out of local minimum, but not hard enough to dislodge it from the global minimum. The simulated annealing solution is to start by shaking hard, that is at a high temperature, and then gradually reduce the intensity of the shaking, that is lower the temperature. The innermost loop of the simulated annealing algorithm is quite similar to hill climbing, which is shown in our next figure, that is figure number 1. Instead of picking the best move, however, it picks a random move. If the move improves the situation, it is always accepted. Otherwise, the algorithm accepts the move with some probability less than 1. The probability decreases exponentially with the badness of the move, the amount delta E by which the evaluation is worsened. So figure 1 shows the simulated annealing algorithm, which is a version of stochastic hill climbing where some downhill moves are allowed. So downhill moves are accepted radially early in the annealing schedule and then less often as time goes on. The schedule input determines the value of the temperature T as a function of time. So what is this function? Function simulated annealing problem schedule returns a solution state. Inputs are a problem schedule, a mapping from time to temperature. Current, make node problem dot initial state. For t is equal to 1 to infinity, do t schedule t. If t is equal to 0, then return current. Next, a randomly selected successor of current. Delta E, next dot value, current dot value. If delta E greater than 0, then current next. Else current next only with probability e raised to delta E divided by t. So this is the algorithm for simulated annealing. The probability also decreases as the temperature T goes down. Bad moves are more likely to be allowed at the start when T is high, and they become more unlikely as T decreases. If the schedule lowers T slowly enough, the algorithm will find a global optimum with probability approaching 1. The simulated annealing was first used extensively to solve VLSI layout problems in the early 1980s. It has been applied widely in factory scheduling and other large-scale optimization tasks. So that is all about the simulated annealing. Now we will discuss the local beam search algorithm. So keeping just one node in memory might seem to be an extreme reaction to the problem of memory limitations. The local beam search algorithm keeps track of k state rather than just one. So it begins with k randomly generated states. At each state, all the successors of k states are generated. If any one is a goal, the algorithm halts. Otherwise, it selects the k best successors from the complete list and repeats itself. At first sight, a local beam search with k states might seem to be nothing more than running k random restarts in parallel instead of in sequence. In fact, the two algorithms are quite different. In a random restart search, each search process runs independently of the others. In a local beam search, useful information is passed among the parallel search threads. In effect, the states that generate the best successors say to the others, "Come over here, the grass is greener." The algorithm quickly abandons unfruitful searches and moves its successors to where the most progress is being made. In its simplest form, local beam search can suffer from a lack of diversity among the k states. They can quickly become concentrated in a small region of the state space, making the search little more than an expensive version of hill climbing. A variant called stochastic beam search, analogous to stochastic hill climbing, helps alleviate this problem. So instead of choosing the best k from the pool of candidate successors, stochastic beam search chooses k successors at random, with the probability of choosing a given successor being an increasing function of its value. The stochastic beam search bears some resemblance to the process of natural selection, where by the successors offspring of a state organism populate the next generation according to its value, that is fitness. Now comes the genetic algorithms. A genetic algorithm is a variant of stochastic beam search in which successor states are generated by combining two parent states rather than by modifying a single state. The analogy to natural selection is the same as in stochastic beam search, except now we are dealing with sexual rather than asexual reproduction. Like beam searches, the genetic algorithms begin with a set of k randomly generated states. Those are known as the population. So each state or individual is represented as a string over a finite alphabet, most commonly a string of zeros and ones. For example, an 8-queen state must specify the positions of 8 queens, each in a column of 8 squares, and so requires 8 into log to the base 2 of 8, which is equivalent to 28 beats. Alternatively, the state could be represented as 8 digits, each in the range from 1 to 8. So figure here shows the genetic algorithm, which illustrated for digit strings representing 8-queen state. The initial position in A is ranked by the fitness function in B, resulting in pairs for matching in C. They produce offspring in D, which are subject to mutation in E. So figure A shows the initial population, figure B shows the fitness function, figure C shows the selection, figure D shows the crossover, while the figure E shows the mutation. So figure 2a shows the population of 4 8-digit strings representing 8 queen states. The production of the next generation of states is showing in figure 2b to 2e. In figure 2b, each state is rated by the objective function, or in genetic algorithm terminology, the fitness function. The fitness function should return higher values for better states. So, for the 8 queens problem, we use the number of non-attaching pairs of queens, which has a value of 28 for a solution. The values of the 4 states are 24, 23, 20 and 11. In this particular variant of the genetic algorithm, the probability of being chosen for reproducing is directly proportional to the fitness score, and the percentage are shown next to the row scores. In figure 2c, 2 pairs are selected at random for reproduction in accordance with the probabilities in B. Now notice here that one individual is selected twice and one not at all. For each pair to be mated, a crossover point is chosen randomly from the positions in the string. In figure 2, the crossover points are after the third digit in the first pair and after the fifth digit in the second pair. In figure D, the offspring themselves are created by crossing over the parent strings at the crossover point. For example, the first child of the first pair gets the first 3 digits from the first parent and the remaining digits from the second parent, whereas the second child gets the first 3 digits from the second parent and the rest from the first parent. The 8 queen states involved in this reproduction state are shown in the figure 3. The example shows that when two parent states are quite different, the crossover operation can produce a state that is a long way from either parent state. So this is the figure 3 where the 8 queen states corresponding to the first two parents in figure 2C and the first offspring in figure 2D. The shaded columns are lost in the crossover state and the unshaded columns are retained as it is. It is often the case that the population is quite diverse early on in the process. So, crossover like simulated annealing frequently takes large steps in the state space early in the search process and smaller steps later on when most individuals are quite similar. So finally, in figure 2E, each location is subject to random mutation with a small independent probability. So one digit was muted in the first, third and fourth offspring. In the 8 queens problem, this corresponds to choosing a queen at random and moving it to a random square in its column. Figure 4 describes an algorithm that implements all these steps. Like stochastic beam search, genetic algorithms combine an uphill tendency with random exploration and exchange of information along parallel search threads. So, the figure here shows a genetic algorithm. The algorithm is the same as the one diagrammed in figure 2 with one variation. In this more popular version, each mating of two parents produces only one offspring, not two. What is the function? It is function genetic algorithm population fitness Fn returns an individual. Inputs are population and a set of individuals, fitness Fn, a function that measures the fitness of the individual. Repeat, new population, empty set. For I is equal to 1 to size population, do X random selection population fitness Fn, Y random selection population fitness Fn. So child reproduce X, Y. If small random probability, then child mutate child. Add child to new population, population, new population until some individual is fit enough or enough time has elapsed. Return the best individual in population according to fitness Fn. Function reproduce XY, return an individual. Inputs XY parent individuals. N length of X, C random number from 1 to n. Return append substring x, 1, c substring y, c plus 1, n. This is the genetic algorithm. The primary advantage, if any, of genetic algorithms comes from the crossover operation. Yet, it can be shown mathematically that if the positions of the genetic code are pre-muted initially in a random order, crossover conveys no advantage. The advantage comes from the ability of crossover to combine large blocks of letters that have evolved independently to perform useful functions, thus raising the level of granularity at which the search operates. For example, it could be that putting the first three queens in positions 2, 4 and 6, where they do not attack each other, constitutes a useful block that can be combined with other blocks to construct a solution. The theory of genetic algorithms explains how this works using the idea of a schema, which is a substring in which some of the positions can be left unspecified. For example, the schema 2, 4, 6, etc. describes all 8 queen state in which the first 3 queens are in positions 2, 4 and 6 respectively. Strings that match the schema such as 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8 are called instances of this schema. It can be shown that if the average fitness of the instances of a schema is above the mean, then the number of instances of the schema within the population will grow over time. Clearly, this effect is unlikely to be significant if adjacent bits are totally unrelated to each other, because then there will be few contiguous blocks that provide a consistent benefit. Genetic algorithms work best when schemata correspond to meaningful components of a solution. For example, if the string is representation of an antenna, then the schemata may represent components of the antenna, such as reflectors and dereflectors. A good component is likely to be good in a variety of different designs. This suggests that successful use of genetic algorithms requires careful engineering of the representation. In practice, genetic algorithms have had a widespread impact on optimization problems, such as a circuit layout and job shop scheduling. At present, it is not clear whether the apple of genetic algorithms arises from their performance or from their aesthetically pleasing or origins in the theory of evaluation. So here in this session we have discussed about the local beam algorithm and the genetic algorithms. Thank you.